Hello and welcome. My name is Patrick. What's your name? Okay, John. How long have you been learning English? Okay. And what are your learning goals? Good to know your learning goals are one, to be successful at work, two, to be able to have good negotiations and to manage teams, to have conversations and small talk. In the course of using language, what is your focus? Good to know your focus is to be confident in articulating your thoughts and engaging people in different ways of speaking. That's great. Well, today we'll be looking at how to start conversations, how to have flawless conversation. Before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Patrick, as I told you earlier, and I love helping learners just like yourself in speaking well, public speaking, language, articulation, grammar, business English, and different ways you as a learner would love to use language. Now, let's start. How do you have conversations? How do you start flawless conversations? First, we will look at pauses. Every great conversation starts with a pause. Have you been in a situation where you are speaking and at a point you pause and then you feel negative about the situation because you feel you should keep talking whilst you're quiet? Have you experienced such a thing? How did you feel? Exactly. You feel that you've gone dead or quiet on a person, and this feeling makes you feel it a negative thing. No, it is not. Pausing when you're speaking is very necessary. It is needed in our speech. When you pause, it does not mean that you do not know what to say. It simply means that you are gathering your thoughts, you are gathering ideas to come better and speak in the way you would want to speak. Remember, at the end, you wouldn't want to let out information that you are not ready giving out. So it's always necessary to try and pause when you are speaking. How do you pause? In the beginning or even at the end? Next, let's look at rhythm. Do you enjoy music? It's great. Every type of song has rhythm. Music has rhythm. And language also has rhythm. How do you create rhythm when you are speaking? Creating rhythm is simply done by speaking short sentences and long sentences. You have to mix them. In speaking, you should be able to mix them, have a long sentence and have a short sentence. You don't have a long sentence and keep talking without talking about something shortly. For example, I like what you did yesterday. awesome. It was great. I expect something better and even greater the next time we meet. Hopefully, let my uncle know I'm coming back better. Well, in speaking and in such manner, you say things in shorter ways and in longer ways, and that creates a rhythm in your speech. Don't forget to do this because that creates the beauty and the music of language each and every day. The next time you start a conversation, don't forget to inject this or add this in your speaking. Say something short, it could be 2 words, 3 words, and then you say a long sentence, and then you come back to something short again. This is how you make your language nicer and even sound flawless. Next, let's talk about intonation. Intonation is the rise and fall of your speech. Why do you do that? Number one, anytime you speak, you have an intent, you have a mind. You want the listener to know what you are talking about. That's one. And also, how do you sound when you give that message? It's also necessary because the listener would be able to know you don't just have an intent to give a message, but there is a tone in which that message is coming. Next, your emotion. How do you feel about the message you're giving out? Well, your listener is able to get that through your intonation. This is seen through the rise and fall of your speech. Start speaking and using intonation from today. Don't be afraid to do that. Simply say, well, this is very interesting. We have been doing that. But lately, you have not been coming to work as early as you should. And I think it's something you have to work on. And this example I just gave, you would realize that when I wanted the listener to know the very important part of the speech, I went up in my speech, in my voice. And that is exactly what you should do when you are speaking. This is seen in our daily conversations with people. Now, at the end of what you say, there is a need to remember all you said, even not all, what you gave an emphasis on. And that moves us to the last one, stress. Stress is for emphasis. Why do you have to emphasize? Because you are speaking so many words. In a conversation, you say so many things, but you want to stress for the listener to know why you are saying this and at what point should the listener consider this as a very important thing in your speech. Stress is important. You can stress in any part of your conversation. When you're speaking, it's over to you. You start speaking in the middle of your speech, speaking using 2 words, 3 words, a sentence. At a point, you would want to stress. What's the need of a stress? Stress is for emphasis. You don't just give the meaning of your statement, but you also want to emphasize. For example, JJ, you were good on that project. You've done really well, and I'm expecting you to even do better because you can do the best. JJ, can you give me something interesting apart from what you delivered yesterday? JJ, can you do that? A question is posed 2 times, twice, just to make JJ understand the need to deliver on this is very necessary. Thank you for joining me.